Hello, my name is Liam Wolkin and I am a professional bathroom remodeler. Over the years, we have tackled a variety of different types of projects, but one thing has always come up. How can we reduce the maintenance? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 tips and tricks you can implement into your upcoming project to achieve just that. When I think of bathrooms, my first thought is often of the tile. There is a huge variety of tiles on the market that come in all shapes and sizes, so how do you determine which one will be best? Well, from a maintenance perspective, bigger is better. As such, my recommendation would be to go with a large format porcelain tile. This will reduce the number of grout lines where dirt and grime can collect and help the water bead off of the large surface more easily. Porcelain is especially great for wet areas and will be available in a large variety of different options. While 12 by 24 or 24 by 24 tiles have become a staple in modern builds, if you can go bigger and the budget allows for it, that's even better. 24 by 48, 48 by 48, or even giant slabs are just going to keep reducing the overall amount of maintenance. You hate grout, I hate grout. Everybody hates grout. We're all far too familiar with the never-ending battle of trying to keep grout clean. Fortunately, it doesn't have to be this way. One solution that we found to be extremely effective is epoxy-based grouts. Epoxy grouts don't discolor or stain in the same way that your traditional cement-based grouts do. While they are more expensive and much harder to install than a traditional grout, it is well worth the extra effort. You can couple this with smaller grout lines, say 1/16 of an inch, and you will truly have a much easier time cleaning your space. Our go-to product for this that we've found to be effective is Spectralock Pro, but any epoxy grout will be superior to what you've been using. And this is especially true when it comes to tiled shower floors. If there was ever an area in which you were to spend a little bit extra, it would be for the shower floor. Trust me on that. Anytime that you're creating steam, you need a means of removing it. And this is where an exhaust fan comes into play. Many older bathrooms won't actually have an exhaust fan if there was an operable window within the room. This is because builders were able to save on costs by not installing the exhaust fan and instead relying on the fact that you could just open the window and let the steam float out of the room. However, a window isn't a sufficient means of managing steam and moisture, and we need to actually pump it out of the room. Furthermore, when a builder does actually install an exhaust fan, oftentimes they'll install the cheapest product available that isn't adequate for the size of the room. So when choosing an exhaust fan, you really want to be paying attention to the CFM or cubic feet per minute. This is simply how much air that fan is able to move in a minute. While you could use an online calculator to get the exact number of CFMs you need for your space, a simpler method is generally just accounting for 1 CFM per 1 square foot. So if you had a 10-foot by 10-foot bathroom, you would want to get a fan that's rated for 100 CFM. Choosing fixtures can be very tricky as you may value a certain aesthetic, but from a maintenance perspective, it would be a good idea to avoid darker finishes like black or oil-rubbed bronze. This is especially true if you live in an area with hard water and you don't have a water softener. Over time, mineral deposits can start forming on your fixtures that can be very tough to remove. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't go with that black fixture aesthetic that you really love. It just means that if you do, it's going to require more maintenance than, say, a chrome finish. Every bathroom needs a toilet, and every toilet needs maintenance, especially if you have boys in the house or men that never learned how to aim. You know who you are. When it comes to this, not all toilets are equal. Wall-mounted toilets or one-piece bidet-style toilets are going to be your best option here. However, they can come with a serious price tag. If your budget doesn't allow for this, another great option would be a skirted toilet. This way, there isn't a million places for dirt to start collecting, and they're just a lot easier to wipe down. I personally would recommend a Toto or Kohler skirted toilet for this. However, that's just my preference. There are also many toilets out there with self-cleaning features that could be purchased as well. So just trust me on this one, get yourself a skirted toilet if you are getting a new toilet for this, as they're just going to be a lot cleaner overall. Now, they are a little bit more tricky to install, especially if you haven't done one before, but that's not really a you problem. That's more so for the installer, unless you are the installer, and then it is a you problem. There are so many different paints on the market that for the average person, it's really tough to tell what is what and what you should be using for your space. But when it comes to bathrooms, the type and quality of your paint is very important. You need to ensure that the paint that you'll be using is mold and mildew resistant and rated for bathrooms. When it comes to the paints that we're using in our projects, for our ceilings, we're using Sherwin-Williams premium ceiling paint. And for our walls, Sherwin-Williams Emerald in a satin finish. Now, you don't have to use these exact paints. There are many quality paints on the market, but just ensure that you're purchasing something that is of quality. This is really a place where spending a little bit extra is well worth it. You don't need to be using these exact paints, but at the very least, I'd highly recommend spending a little bit extra on a quality product. It makes a huge difference when it comes to bathrooms. Glasswork can be a great way to upgrade your bathroom and give it a higher end look. However, it does come with some maintenance. Fortunately, there are a few things we can do to help reduce this. First off, we want to consider if there are any ways to reduce the overall amount of glass or keep it further away from the shower head. In some renovations, a wet room may be considered for this reason. Something else you can do is apply a protective coating to your glass to help water bead off of it. When we do our projects during manufacturing, oftentimes our glass will get what is called DFI coating. This is a product that works similarly to Rain-X on a car windshield. By having the water more easily bead away from the glass, this will also greatly reduce the amount of soap residue or chemicals, mineral deposits that will form on that surface. Now, if your glasswork isn't able to come with that factory coating, there are aftermarket options that exist. You might consider a product such as Rain-X shower door repellent and just apply it yourself. But even with all of this, the only true way to keep your glass looking new is with regular light cleaning. Keeping a squeegee in your shower and just giving it a quick 20-second wipe down after every use will just ensure that it stays beautiful forever. When it comes to sinks, an undermount or built-in sink are going to be your best option. And I really feel like this is self-explanatory. I'm sure we've all had that situation where you go to someone's house and they have the vessel sink, you're washing your hands, water's splashing all over the place, and you're kind of looking at the washcloth like, do I use that now to wipe down this water? It's a mess. We've all had that experience, right? That's not just me. While vessel sinks can look really nice in certain aesthetics, they do just create a whole lot of more areas for water to collect and additional surfaces to wipe down. The benefit of having, say, an undermount or built-in sink is that it's just easily wipeable and cleaning is just made that much easier. Besides all of that, built-ins or undermounts are just the standard these days, so it's the option you're more likely to see. These days, it's getting harder and harder to find trim that isn't MDF. And while this is fine for most areas, when it comes to bathrooms, we do want to try to avoid using MDF when possible. This is especially true for any trim that will be making floor contact or is close to a wet area. PVC trim would be a much better alternative with wood just behind it. However, if MDF is your only option, you do need to ensure that it is fully sealed. A high quality paint should be used regardless of the material, and if you are using MDF where it makes floor contact, you may consider using a color match silicone along that joint. Although this is a controversial subject, and overall the better option is just to use PVC or wood. I realize that the entire point of this video is reducing maintenance, but no matter what we do, we're still gonna have maintenance. And the best way to manage this is just with a regular routine. If we let mineral deposits and grime start building up on our glass, fixtures, and grout, it's just going to get increasingly more difficult to remove them. However, if you're able to stop them from forming in the first place, you'll be able to avoid using harsher chemicals and cleaning products altogether. Just keep some surface cleaners, microfiber towels, a squeegee, maybe a small vacuum nearby, and actually use them. That is something my mom would say, but she's right. She always is. Anyways, that is it for this one. I hope you got something useful out of the video. We all want to reduce maintenance, and these are some things that if you are to implement will achieve just that. If you just want to maybe quickly hit that like button on your way out or subscribe if you want to see more, I would greatly appreciate it. And if not, have a great day.